live. Here we are. It is the Bob Martin Scrum at the weekend, and it is Sam and Susanna. Susanna, how are things going with you?
Good stuff. I sent an email out to all the SHF members currently in the system, and some of them have gotten back to me, but no problems there. We did encounter one problem, that when a new application was being sent, they got an error that 413 too large, and I couldn't replicate that. So.
So is that a blocker for you?
Well, I guess if people can't attach their diplomas and stuff and send their application, then well, it's not a big blocker, but it should be fixed somehow at some point.
Well, and of course, the critical thing with any bug is for people to write a test that wraps it, so that the bug will be replicated. All right, but so otherwise, things going well with you?
I think so.
Yeah, good show. We also have Fred here. Hey, Fred, how's it going with you?
Hey, Sam.
Hi, long time no see. How are you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's what's going on? Yeah, it was a busy day. I've been driving children to football matches this morning, and yeah, it's now post lunch, and I could quite happily have a little sleep. But there's things to be done. So yeah, not too bad. How are things going with you? Are you in the new apartment?
Yes, I'm in the new apartment.
Fantastic. And so I guess you haven't had much of a chance to work on any open source stuff recently. It's been all work for you, for the company.
Oh, actually, yes, that's the truth. But I still want to use some my spare time to catch up with you guys, and want to contribute to the local support project. As you know, I'm not quite well mastered the Git skills, so I spent some time to relearn some Git command from the code school, so that I can do some simple tasks on the local support.
Great.
That's what I'm going to do. Because I know there are definitely some simple tasks like documentation, like some typo stuff like this I can do. Absolutely.
Well, and project management and review. Yeah, well, that's great. Yes, I've got several things I could say to that point. I guess what I will do is I'll just go and do my review, and then we can sort of have a more general chat. So. Yesterday, I ran the Scrum, the new weekend Scrum again. It was just Michael and myself. Yesterday, I got the new sponsor via PayPal thing is now out onto develop, and I'm going to be working on that in a pairing session in about 15 minutes with Marion, who's a Premium Plus member, and so she's booked me for a weekend. I usually don't pair at the weekends, but for those people who are paying for the Premium Plus, then that's I make an exception. Otherwise, things are going reasonably well. Yeah, I mean that's my key thing that I want to get done. I really want to have that sponsor via PayPal. We've got now some members in the US who are providing sponsorship for other members in developing countries who can't afford the Agile Ventures Premium services. Support for professional development. So, I've got more people lining up to do so they're saying they'll do the sponsorship if they can do it via PayPal. So I'm hoping to get that out. Well, that's our Scrum. I guess what I thought was actually there, particularly talking about local support. I mean, thanks for your email as well, Susanna. I did write that all out by hand. And so, I like to mix up email and sometimes Slack can be a very intense communication form. I think it's good to mix it up occasionally. One of the things you were saying, Susanna, was, I think I'd been saying how, well, I think that partly we've sort of been starting to say to people it's good to contribute to other projects before starting your own. You were mentioning, Susanna, that it's kind of, oh, you're in such a rush to get things done. You couldn't afford the time to contribute to other projects, and at the same time, it can be a bit of a false economy, because sometimes if you rush into things really, really fast, then the challenges that come up actually, slow you down. So sometimes the winding path is actually the fastest one. But what I thought I might do with both of you actually is do a review of our local support board just in the remaining 6 or 7 minutes of here, partly to show like how we do things on the local support. I mean, I think Fred's also interested in finding things to do. I'm actually also thinking of writing a book on agile project management and for open source in particular. But the way we have our board, I think you use Waffle in are you using Waffle or Pivotal Tracker, Susanna?
Pip.
You're using Pivotal Tracker. Okay, there we go. Yes. So the way we have it up, I think most Waffle, Pivotal Tracker boards are, we've got current, backlog, and icebox with the green ones of our stuff that's done. So the key thing we've got here is our yellow ones, where these are the things that people are actually working on. And so part of what I will do as a review thing, and in principle anybody can do this, but it's a good thing for the project manager to do regularly, and I maybe don't do it regular enough, is to go through this is our overview here of like who is working on what. And so what we want to kind of do, and maybe I'll get rid of these ones so we can see that more easily, is focus in on what people are doing. So we've got here, this is Marcelo. He's working on, we'll just pull that up. It's one of the reasons I like Waffle, is because it automatically links it all into the pull requests and so on. But so we've got there, this is Marcelo's pull request that he's been working on. I've given him now 3 days ago input on that of things to fix and so on. So I think I can probably leave him fine. And I almost say, like, so this is an activity for the project manager, but it's also an activity that anybody kind of coming into the project can do. If you want to kind of like get a sense of what's going on, where you can help and so on, it's a great thing to look through, what people are working on. So we've got Marcelo here. He's doing a refactoring within one of the services to try and isolate things from Rails. He's got a pull request to the extent that this thing that he was trying to do was interesting. He's trying to refactor this method and so on. Then, you could comment on the pull request. You could reach out to Marcelo and say, do you want any help? Or just, ask questions about any elements of it that you don't understand. You can see the back and forth as Marcelo and myself are discussing all of these aspects there. If it's interesting, you can get involved. If not, bye-bye. This is a wonderful aspect of the volunteer thing. It's focus on things that we're interested in. We've got another pull request here from Norm. This is about search engine optimization and meta tags. And Norm he's a MOOC student. He's been in some scrums this week, and we've pretty much, I think we've got it to a point where we left it with him was he's made the changes. There's a couple of code climate issues left, and I said, we'll deal with them. Oh, we've got this. There are some conflicts here to resolve. Actually, there's a new editor. I don't know if you guys have you seen this now. They've got the ability to do conflict resolution actually within the GitHub interface, which I think is pretty cool there. I wonder if I can actually use that, because we've just added, we've got prepend before action there. So if I want to fix this, I think what I want to do is, might be the right fix. Well, we can find out. I'm keen to use the interface. I think we now have that set volunteer op as prepend before action. And it's interesting that we don't have the authorized tag. I don't know the necessary. So I could say here, mark as resolved, commit the changes, and then, so in the past we would have had to have done this by the command line, but so now we've got these, and it will rebuild it, and we'll see. And there's a couple of outstanding code climate issues that I said I would take care of on here, but again, this required kind of a lot of back and forth, and if that search engine optimization meta tags sounds interesting, get involved if there are questions or thoughts or comments. I mean, something that's a sort of like a natural warm-up process of getting involved in a project, is understanding what the other team members are doing. So then we've got three. So that was a chore and a feature, and we've got 3 bugs then. So we've got one here. This is Elena has started working on this one. She's been having some discussion with us in the Slack channel. I don't think we have a pull request in there from her. So there's not much movement there. That would be somebody one could reach out to. That's like some odd flash messages that we're getting for the admin. We've got Piotr or Pedro. He's working on, oh, right, we've got a thing here where he's working on upgrading to a more recent version of Bootstrap that will have less security issues. It has a side effect of making the page not look so good. So there's kind of, I'm just sort of prodding him to say, you know, actually maybe we need to break this into multiple different tasks to fix all the different things that come up there. But I've said that to him fairly recently, so I'm not gonna ping him. And then, oh, okay, and we've actually got a new pull request coming for Anna. I was just working on this bug, and he's working in here. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I've got a new one there. The blue line tells me I haven't seen it before. Yep, and so I gave him some feedback before that he just made the change, but we didn't have a bug. Sorry, we didn't have a test for it, and that was the thing I was mentioning to you before, Susanna, is that whenever anybody, you know, the first step in fixing a bug is, you know, getting a what's the word, a reliable test that will capture it. And so interesting.
Yes.
Go on.
I can't even capture it when I try.
Right. Yes. Indeed. So the thing is that the person who's filing the bug report, it's partly up to them, you know, or one needs to push back on them to give enough information to make it replicable. And the danger is that if you just replicate it manually, then by the time you've replicated it manually, you're kind of exhausted. You're like, oh, that's the fix, and you just put the fix in, right? And then you don't have in your Cucumber features the record of kind of, this was an issue that was a problem for a user, and you know, it means that potentially when the bug comes back, you don't have a test. So there's a kind of, in the same way that the TDD, that you write the test first to cope with the potential laziness later. And even if you can't replicate it, you can be trying to replicate it via a test and banging against that rather than trying on manually, if you know what I mean.
I know.
Yeah, good stuff. So Anar here has added some more things in there. I'm surprised that do we need that thing for the, I guess, yeah, so he's actually gone and he's checking that it does open a second window. I think there may be a, so I'm just thinking here, so this one basically is it's almost a trivial change here, that we're opening the, you know, this link to a different target. I guess what I could be saying there, so Anar, because he's done a test where he's checking that the test is a little brittle. Driver. We could instead test that the CS, or it's like the actual HTML attribute targets equals blank is set. That's what I usually do. So give him a little comment, and of course anybody could be giving that comment. It doesn't have to be just the project manager. And so that's, now having done that, I've got a sense of, okay, that's the things that people are working on, where they're up to. If some of these have been open for a week or so, I might start to be like, oh, so hey, how's it going with this? Because the longer that any of these stay open, the more that's preventing other people from picking them up. So if I don't hear from somebody for a couple of weeks, then I will, you know, unassign them and move things back into the backlog. And so, of course, we had a particular example of, so we had someone who started working on a story in the current, and they hadn't noticed that somebody else was already working on it, and so they sort of duplicated the work. So the key guideline is, if you're going to work on anything that's in current, reach out to the person who's currently on that and make sure that you coordinate with them. Separately, we've then got the backlog. So here we've got all the voted stories, and you know, we can look through and find out things. You can reach out to people who created them. I guess I won't go through all of those one by one, and then we have, so I guess the key thing, because well, one, I guess I'll say there, Susanna, does that match to the way in which you guys are using Pivotal Tracker?
I think so, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, that's good to hear. Then there's the question of, okay, so, you know, given that like something in current means, you know, reach out to the person before working on it, ideally, and of course if the person doesn't respond and it takes, you know, 3 days, you can, you know, say, well, say to the project manager, maybe I'll start on this because they don't seem to be doing anything. then there's a question. So in principle, anything can be started in the backlog. We try and order the backlog so that the highest priority elements are at the top, based upon what the client is talking about. And then go on.
I just found my problem.
Oh yeah.
It's a problem with the production server, not with the system.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you test that?
Well, you need to have your tests be able to replicate aspects of the production server sufficiently to replicate the bug. So if there's some bug in the production server, for example, that the environment setting is such and such and such, then you need to make sure that your test is able to accurately replicate the production environment in order to replicate the bug in the test.
Yeah. Okay. So then you need to first know the problem in order to test the problem.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's going to take some, but see, you can still write the test, and the test can be passing, right?
Yes.
I mean, the danger is that you say, well, I can't write the test until I understand what the problem is. But you know what you're trying to do, so you can still have that. I mean, does the bug that they've encountered, does it correspond to any existing Cucumber test in your system?
Sort of. Because it's uploading of a file, but we don't specify the size of the file.
Okay, so the problem is that the file is too big or something?
Yes.
Yes. So then that argues for a test that tests for what happens in the situation where the file is too big.
But on locally and in test environment, no file is too big.
Well, then you need to introduce the right. But if that test is passing, that's the process you can be driving that. I mean, this is the thing actually, because Heroku, you're not necessarily on Heroku, but yeah, for me, back in the day, I always used to actually run the tests in the production environment. Potentially with a different database, and you would still get that. But if you've got a test that is uploading a file of exactly that size and it's passing, then that's fine. Then you have to keep investigating because you've got the test. The danger is that situation where you don't have the test and you're just testing manually about why it doesn't work.
Okay.
But so then presumably, I mean, the production thing, is that then you've got like you're loading up to S3, or it's like what's causing the constraint on the file size?
413 request entity too large, nginx 111 something.
Okay, and in your test environment, that's not that you don't get that error.
No,
because you're testing with a different stack. I guess you're like the nginx is not even being used.
You ask me. I don't know. No,
sure, but so then if that error is being thrown, then you can simulate that error in the test environment, and so have it report, an appropriate thing to the user.
Okay.
Cool. So what we have in terms of the backlog with the higher priority ones at the top. So from Fred's point of view, if you're looking for something interesting to do, then there's coming through the backlog, and of course there's things in the icebox. And in fact, anything in the icebox that's been voted can in principle be pulled onto the bottom of the backlog. Or if you find something in here that's interesting and it hasn't been voted on, then you can start a vote. And we have a new voting bot. And so we could, I guess, when I start, what have we got here? Oh yeah, definitely new maps code. Let's say we go a little vote here on this one. I'll just show you how the new bot works. Well, actually, do I have a vote? I think I have a vote running already in the async voter, and it hasn't finished. And it's annoying. So maybe anyway, we've sort of run out of time. I'll just show you the vote that's in place. Well, that's the other big thing we want to get done, is to allow the voting bot to work in multiple channels. But if we look here in async voter, you can see here that I started a vote by talking to this bot, and then I was able to direct message the bot, and as a result, it said like, "Oh yes, thank you for voting," and then Aresh here voted. And now we've got that standing there. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to ping the channel to say we still have this vote going on. Oops, got rid of that. Please DM async voter bot to the bot for votes. I think one of the things we need to do is have it set up so that the bot itself can just I hate that. We've got so many people in the Slack that almost every conceivable word you can type completes to some user's name. It's a bit ridiculous. But basically, if the bot hasn't finished the vote after like 12 hours or so, it should start, pinging people. Anyway, I guess then the final thing to mention is in our, we do also have in the local support, there's sort of issues that come up. So sometimes people like put those in there. So that's another place to look through, but they're probably not as well organized as these. Fred, any questions about the local support setup? And
yes, you mentioned that there are backlog and icebox. I can look into if I find anything interested. I can start work on it, right?
Absolutely, yes. So I mean, what I often say to people is, you can click start on anything in backlog. I mean, it never hurts to take a link to the story or the chore or whatever it is, and come into the channel and say, like, at here or at Kantaku, I was thinking of working on what have you, and then because maybe there's some latest piece of information that isn't there. You can also ask, in here, and say, you can kind of at the individual person. I'm better at noticing the things in Slack than I am in Pivotal. I mean, I usually get the ones in Pivotal after a couple of days, but if you're not getting a response, then there's always in there. But yeah, you can by all means just sort of click start and start working on it. But in a distributed team, the more that we share about what we're working on, the more that we help each other and avoid replicating work, or we like suffering in silence when there's something we're stuck on.
Okay, sure. And another suggestion you have for me is suggest me to check what other people are doing and see what I can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to direct. We've got some new documentation that we're generating. In particular, we've got this at the bottom of joining a project. I've got this not much time to spare thing here, which is sort of, maybe sometimes you haven't got very much time. There's like, if you've got like, this is sort of a mental heuristic, but if you've only got like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can come in and just like have a look down on a pull request, and it may be that you feel other people have said already the things, but you can just put a +1 with a thumbs up in there, or if there's any aspect of the thing that you don't understand, you can ask a question about it. And I think for people, the majority of people putting in pull requests, the more comments and +1s and what have you that they see, the better they feel. That's really valuable, for people to be seeing there. And it's a good, I think that process of reviewing pull requests and seeing how other people are trying to solve problems is really valuable for our learning. If there aren't any pull requests, then you can be starting a vote on a ticket. We've got another, I should link it in, shouldn't I? We've got async voting. You can this bot. We've got this bot that we're trying to make it easier to use, but you can just run a manual asynchronous vote within the channel by saying, hey, let's have a vote on this. I'm interested in this story. Let's have a vote on it. That's a way of kind of, I'll put that in the link there. It's a way of kind of alerting people to the idea that you might want to work on something, that you're interested in something, and sort of a way of getting them to get their opinions across. Yeah, about 30 minutes, join a Scrum, say hi, you've done that. Tell us what you're doing, like read the, or observe a pairing session, and then, like a bit more time getting set of code base, or, start working on a ticket, join a pairing session. Those kind of things. So there's lots of little things to do that are really valuable for the project that I think people really appreciate. Whether it's just, I say, giving a +1 or participating in a vote or what have you.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right. Well, I better go on, because I need to get a cup of coffee before this next pairing session. Anything else that we should work out, or any other questions on your mind?
For now, I haven't any questions, but if I have one, I'll ping you on the Slack.
Yeah, in the project channel. Fantastic. Yeah, and Susanna, well done finding the cause of that problem. I guess you'll be able to get it fixed now. I think Susanna is muted. Anyway, I better move on. Oh, go on.
I have a Swedish person in my channel actually who's good at that sort of stuff.
Excellent. Wonderful.
So he can help me fix it, and then we can thoroughly test it when we have it in a larger setting.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good luck with that. Excellent. Yeah, very, very pleased to see how dedicated you are to the SHF project, and yeah, great stuff. Okay, well, and see you guys maybe on another weekend. Next weekend, I don't know. It's the next 2 weekends are like crazy holiday weekends, but I'll let you know. Maybe see you again soon.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Have a cool Yule.
Bye bye.